setter.
I see some gas off the edge. Get that mic up and put your shoulder on somebody. Dig, drop. You're finished. Hey, first down. This is weird. It worse than that side.
Way, where'd I go? Hold on a second here. Here I am. Howdy doody, everybody. What are you doing? Oh, I didn't hit the poll. I never hit start. There you go, everybody. Enjoy the poll. Welcome to the show. We're back for the After Hours Jets Fest. Holy macaroni. What a couple weeks it's been. I think it's been 2 weeks since we've done this one. And I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to spend this time with you all solo style. This has become the only show that I do by myself with you guys. And then when we first started this thing many years back, all my shows were just me. And obviously we did the Talking Jets. That would be the one show I did with other people. He was like, oh, I do my stuff. And then I meet up with O'Leary and Ryan and the Angry David at the time. And we would do that. And then it was like everything else was just me. I would even do the game streams by myself. Then I said, I need help. I brought Jeremy into that. And then we did the Thursday thick of it. I said, hey, maybe I can bring in some people with this. And then it started this whole thing where I'm always with somebody. I forgot how to do it by myself. So now here we are. This is the only one. And I thoroughly enjoy this one. The only problem is it's so damn late at night that it caused the divorce that I'm about to have. So, hey, what are you going to do? Yeah. I hope you guys are having a good night. I hope you enjoyed the Talking Jets panel. It's tough. It's tough this time of year, everybody, because there ain't shit to talk about. We're like, hey, you saw Ryan. If you watched the Talking Jets panel on the Talking Jets network, this right here, see? If you saw that, you went to that channel and you saw that previous stream 2 hours prior to this one. You saw that Ryan brought up the Over the Cap, which I love and respect, and Jason from Over the Cap, who started Over the Cap. Go way back. Again, we were referring to Jason for cap shit before Over the Cap was Over the Cap. You know what I mean? So on Jet Nation. So got nothing but respect for him. But Ryan brought up their newest data point, which is this friggin' salary diamond. So, that this time of year, that's what we're talking about. It's tough. We did the draft. We did the yelling, the screaming, the analyzing, the breaking down. This player going to be good. We hated him when we drafted him, but actually, upon second look, maybe this guy is this might be the secret gem of the draft right here, And we do that, and we feel, and we go back and forth, and we argue, and then we come to now. Now we're getting excited about something called rookie minicamp, which is useless garbage, truth be told. I mean, we like it because, hey, let's get these kids running around in Jets uniforms, right? Not even uniforms, just Jets colors, shorts, jerseys. So maybe I think they had helmets on, right? So, yeah, so it's something. And we go, nom, 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 nom. It's like being, starving. You're walking through the desert. You got a fish allergy, a peanut allergy. You're walking through the desert and you haven't eaten in 5 days and you're just weak and you're frail and you're a little old. And somebody goes, I don't know, man. Look, I got fish and peanuts. You're like, I want it. I'll take the fish and peanuts. Don't you have an allergy? So that's what rookie minicamp. It's like we're starving, walking in the desert. And you're like, yeah, I'll take 2 days of kids I don't know running around just because they're wearing green. They're going to be wearing green? I'm in. That's what we do. And it's nice to see, don't get me wrong, but it's like and then we got what? The schedule release. May 14th, I think it is. They release the schedule. Or not the schedule, right? Is it? Yeah, it's a schedule. Let me see something. I think it's a schedule. But I'm very tired. NFL. Let's see. Yeah, schedule. May 14th. May 14th, they will release the schedule. So we'll know how many ridiculous, dumb primetime games they've given the worst team in the league, right? So the last 2 years, my friends, they decided to give us Jets 2 years in a row, 7 primetime games. Whether, you got London games, you got Monday night games, opening day, 2 years. The opening day of the season, Monday night football slot, 2 years in a row. Why? Well, because Aaron Rodgers was here. And we know that. We're not stupid. It's not because, they know the Jets, because Aaron Rodgers was here. We had a young, good team. We were built, looked good, got some names spewed around, just strewn about. But it was Aaron Rodgers. So they give us this shit without earning anything. We haven't eclipsed 7 wins in recent. We haven't eclipsed 7 wins since 2015. Correct me if I'm wrong. New York Jets record by year. Let's take a look. Here we go. You ready? We're going to take a look. Hold on a second. Can I not do it there? Okay, hold on. I got to do it this way. Shit, man. All right, fine. I'll do it this way. So we'll take a look at the Jets. The last time we eclipsed, we had 1 year in 2015. We know that one. So let's see. I'll make it big for you guys. Here you go. So let's look at the last time So look at this. Right here. 10 wins. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. We haven't broken 7 wins. 7 wins is our max, and we only did that 3 times in 9 years. So 6 years, the highest was 5. This is good stuff. And we had the 10 and 6, then we had the 4 and 12. Oh, look at this. So right on the heels of that, we got 8. And then we had the 2010s, that the Rex Ryan years, right? This is the Rex Ryan era right here. Right here, baby. Before that, we did all right. 9 and 7, 4 and 12 in there. 10 and 6, 4 and 12, 10 and 6, 6 and 10, 9 and 7, 10 and 6, 9 and 7, 8 and 8, 12 and 4. We're going all the way back to Parcells, man. But you see, we're not very good, right? That's my point. So why'd they give us all these primetime games? Well, because Aaron Rodgers. We haven't earned anything. So what I'm really hoping we learn on May 14th. Oh, that's right. I named this the TURD. I named this stream the New York Jets off-season TURD sandwich. That's what we call an impulse label. I did that in a 1-second thought and just left it. I don't even, you know what I mean? Like if I thought about that for more than 5 seconds, Dick, I probably wouldn't have kept it. But there it is. So thank you for acknowledging it. But so anyway, May 14th, thank you, Sodak. Is when we find out if they're going to do what I want them to do, which is, all right, Jets, yes, you burned us. We lost millions of dollars on you the last couple years because we bought into the hype. We put you out front and you sucked, right? And by the end of the season, the viewership was down on Thursday Night Football, on Monday Night Football, on Sunday Night Football. So we're going to do something for you, and they're going to tuck us neatly in our little tiny corner on 1 p.m. games where regional viewership is all we get. That's all I want. That's what I want. I want an entire season. I don't want a single primetime game, and it can happen. The Carolina Panthers in 2024 had 0 primetime games. Why? Because they earned it. That's why. And the Jets, granted, we haven't had the number 1 overall pick, but who can say we're not worse? Might get more wins sprinkled because we don't know how to suck. That should prove that we really suck worse, but they don't get it because everybody's a numbers. Everybody's a nerd looking at diamonds like Ryan. Ryan, our in-house resident nerd. It's funny. He just texted me. I shit you not. I'm literally talking about Ryan being the talking Jets nerd right now. Here you go. Anyway, he just laughed. So, yeah, so we get to figure it out. So it's exciting, but that's it. Like by comparison to like the draft or opening day of free agency or the season or training camp, right? It's just, again, it's handing peanuts to a guy with a peanut allergy who's starving for 4 or 5 days. You're going to eat it. Friggle D's here. Sodak in the house. Curly Norman's here. Look at you guys. Hennessy. Yeah, man. I know. I hear that, Hennessy. What do we got to do for winning? I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, you think you get the rookie offensive and defensive rookie of the year. You get Klecko and Revis in the Hall in the same year. You think that's good. Then you sign Aaron Rodgers. You're like, oh, I mean it's got to do something. Just wins. Not even the bowl. Just wins. No, not enough. You know what I think? Here's what I think. And then Sodak, your super chat is up next, my good friend. This is what I think, Hennessy. I think the only thing that is going to get us where we need to go is doing things the real way, which is this. Not the real way necessarily for everybody else. To a degree, yes. Because there are things that work, and there are things that work more standardly, more regularly than other things, right? There's like, the Ralph Cramden quick, get rich quick. I'm really lagging here. Hold on a second. Let me shut some shit down. Let me shut that down. Let me shut that down. Let me shut that down. Hold on. This will help. Oh, QuickTime's open. You got to get out of here too. Everybody's got to go. Shut that down. Shut that down. All right. That should help. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing the lag. Hold on. Shut there. I got one more thing I can shut down here. Yep. What's this? I'll leave that open. I need that. Okay. I think that's it. Oh, pages. I can quit that too. Fuck out of here. All right. So you got to do things. You like the whole, big trades to the big splat. Not necessarily trade. Trades are good, but the big splash and the swing for the fence. You got to remember who you are. It's like, look, I'm a 5'10.5" now. I'll tell you why. Because I shrank. I'm 52 years old, and it's shit. I guess it's real. I've been 5'11" and 5'8" since my junior year in high school. Really, my senior year. I was 4'11" my junior year. I came back. I was 5'11" and change my senior year. One summer. Isn't that fun? So I've been 6 foot. I called it 6 foot my whole adult life. And then last year, I went to the doctor and they measured me and they go, oh, 5'10.5". And I went, no. And they go, yeah. And I made them do the thing with the stick on the head 3 times. And then I said, all right. And I had to turn around. They want my back to it. And I said, all right, I did that. I need to see. I want to see what you're doing. You're conniving against me. I don't know why. Conspiracy. I don't know. But so I'm 5'10.5". Now I shrank an inch. So I'm 5'10.5", and I want to play basketball. I'm also white. I'm 52 years old, and I'm Irish, who was raised as an Italian. I'm Irish, English, Scottish, Portuguese, Swedish, and I was raised thinking I was an Italian. Okay, so take that. All right, you take that collection of things, and I really want to play basketball. So am I going to be, just take that guy. Is that guy going to be the point guard trying to go to the basket? Is that guy going to be, maybe an outside? I got to develop my outside game, right? 52, 5'10", you know what I mean? So I got to know it's the same game of basketball, but different people, different thing. You got to play it a different way. But the overarch is that there's a right way to do it. And in this scenario, this example, what? You got to train, you got to practice. So those things are tried and true. You got to do the tried and true things, but you also got to identify and accept who you are. If you don't do that, you're going to fail. If I want to be a center and be the rebound king at 5'10 and a half, am I going to be able to do that, Hennessy? Maybe a little. Am I going to be one of the good? I'm not. 7'1" over here. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to be jumping around like a fool. Develop your outside game, kid. It's your only shot. So when you look at the Jets, the thing that we keep forgetting to do is to remember that we are the Jets. And I'll give you a great example, but there are thousands that I could give you. And I shit you not. Maybe not thousands, but I can break 100 with my examples. Don't make me do it. Maybe we should do that one day. I'll do like a 24-hour stream, and I'll just give you example after example of the Jets not acknowledging and accepting that they're the Jets. Okay? And that's why we failed. I could do it. I can do it. If anybody can, it's me. So here's a great example. The Jets, like I just mentioned, we have a young team. You got Joe Douglas is in the middle. He's really good trades. He traded the 31st quarterback in the NFL for 3 draft picks. Holy shit. How did he get that? Including a second. He traded Jamal Adams, a safety, for 2 firsts and a third and a safety. Right? Jamal Adams in a 4th for 2 firsts, a third, and a safety. So he pulls that off. Then he trades Dwayne Brown for Dr. Blocker. There, he's so bad, they cut him and we brought him back. So he stole Dr. Blocker from the Chiefs for free. He's got all kinds of shit like that going on. He's drafting well, right? He's not afraid. He's trading back. He's trading up. He's doing all kinds of stuff. We like how he's building the team early on. And then he gets 22 draft. He's using the picks from the Jamal Adams trade and the Sam Darnold trade. And he brings in Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall in one draft. First 4 picks. And that included a major trade up in the whole thing. 2 trade ups, actually. We're so excited. 2 of those picks end up being the rookies of the year. Both sides of the ball. Then he goes out and gets Aaron Rodgers. Right? We are riding high. So the NFL goes, holy shit, there's something going on here in New York. And they put us on Monday Night Football. Right? Now, that collection of events in Kansas City is going to work. That collection of events in Baltimore is going to work. That collection of events in Pittsburgh, in Dallas, and on. Many, many, many examples. Maybe even our crosstown rivals, the Giants, because even though it's the same stadium, same locale, we are not the same. And I'll tell you why another day. I know why that is too. I have facts, buddy. So we get that Monday night game. Everybody's buzzing. It's September 11th. So everything's perfect. But the Jets do not acknowledge that they are the Jets. Now, how do they do that, Infrared? And I'm going to get to you, Sodak. Infrared, do you know? Hennessy, do you know? Bishop, come on. What is the major event, the major decision that took place that day that proved we have completely forgotten that we are the Jets? And it all went to shit. Maybe not directly as a result, but it sure looks like. There it is. Hennessy and Dick Chimney's burner. See, now this is how I know. I just got chills. I shit you not. Both of you fucks. I got chills looking at your both answers. Hennessy beat you by a quarter second. Yeah, it popped up on my screen together. And I got chills. I literally have chicken flesh. They call it here. Up where in New Jersey, where I'm from, they call it goosebumps. I got chills because now I know that we're connected. You see, we are now connected. I know, and you know that I know only what we know. And this is what it is. For all you guys like, what do you mean, Vinny T? What the fuck are you talking about? It's September 11th. Everything's right. Everything's perfect. Remember the lights went down. Aaron Rodgers runs out of the tunnel with the American flag to AC/DC's Thunderstruck. And we're like, we're here. This is going to be it. And they forgot they were the Jets, and they decide out of why that game to bring Vinny Testa. Why Vinny? I'll tell you why. Because wait, let me see something here. Before I make that statement. Let me just make sure of something real quick. I'm about to say something that I'm not confident in. Hold on. Yes. I'll tell you why. Because Vinny Testaverde was the starting quarterback that season. So that's the connective tissue. So they decide to bring out Vinny Testaverde for the coin toss. Why am I lagging so bad? Is it that stat site? Look at that lag. It's crazy. So where we know the last time, 2010 Rex Ryan was the last time. But so the 1998, when that 1999 season started, we made it to the AFC Championship game in 1998. In 1999, we lost in the championship game to the Broncos. We entered that season as the consensus best team in the NFL. We were everybody's Super Bowl pick. We were coached by Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick, Ron Earhart, Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel, Maurice Carthon, you name it. We had the coaching staff of coaching staffs. We had Vinny Testaverde, Curtis Martin, Kevin Mawai, Darrell. No, it wasn't Revis. Aaron Glenn. Right? Like it was like the team, Brian Cox, Marvin Jones, Mo Lewis. Like it was sick. Opening day, 2000 or 1999, he comes out, he tears his fucking Achilles. So we were a Super Bowl favorite then. The all went down week one. So we bring that quarterback out. We finally got Aaron Rodgers. We finally got a team. We're finally there again. And we choose that game. Nobody in the building. Nobody. From Woody to Christopher to their underlings, to Jaime, to Joe Douglas, to Robert Saleh, to the players, to the girls answering the phones, to the kid fucking trying to sell you tickets, to the guy filling the water jugs and spraying liquid in the players' mouths. Nobody said, hey, this is a bad omen. We're the Jets. No, not one person said it. And I'll tell you who did say it. You want to know who said it? We did. When we saw them trotting Vinny Testaverde out to the field, I shit you not. On our stream, we said it. Why him? That guy shouldn't get him out. Look, I love Vinny Testaverde. Dude. That's his signature right there. That's it, right? Love Vinny T. Keep him the fuck away from my brand new shiny team. And what happens? 4 plays in, the exact same injury to this great quarterback that happened to that guy who we just trotted out. We tainted the field with that bullshit Jets history energy. And that's the shit that we don't pay attention to. So going back to this, the thing that the Jets never, which is my one hope with Aaron Glenn, other than the fact that, hey, maybe this collection of guys can actually coach, because that's going to be the big thing. That'll be the big change. But on top of that, you have to acknowledge that we are the Jets. You cannot treat this team when you're building it and coaching it and trotting their asses out onto the field like we're just another NFL team. Hey, I got good players. They got good players. I got good coaches. They got good coaches. That better not be all you're bringing to the party, baby. It's like bringing that girlfriend to the party who, once she has the fourth beer, is going to be yelling and screaming and saying you're cheating on her. So what do you do? If that's your girl, and you keep every party I bring her to, she does this, and a good friend will say, well, dude, haven't you noticed? It's like when she gets to this point. So if you know that, if you pay attention for fucking 5 minutes, you'll know this is the break, this is the threshold. So you don't get to that threshold. And if you can't stop it from getting that threshold, then you change the dynamic. You don't go there. You don't stay. You know what I mean? You have to acknowledge your situation, who you are. Once you do that, and that includes things like you can't go into the season, a season where you expect and you have hopes of really doing something. You can't go into the season with one layer deep of actual people that can play at an NFL level. Like having Mekhi Becton and Dwayne Brown, two injured guys at the most important positions, left and right tackle. You got a Hall of Fame quarterback. You got a potential star running back. You got a star wide receiver. And you got injured, didn't practice in training camp. Dwayne Brown on the left, and you got injured for 2 years in a row. Mekhi Becton. Maybe that'll work for the Steelers. It's the Jets. You had better, if they go down, the guy running on the field you have to know for a fact that he can play at an NFL level. It can't be a rookie, 5th round pick, 4th round pick, right? Or 5th. It can't be an undrafted free agent that played really well in the preseason and you're elevating him because you're proud of him. You know what? This kid earned his shot. That can't be. It can't be Xavier Newman and Carter Warren. It can't be Phil Hansen or Jake Hansen. It can't be. But we did. So, when we do that, Hennessy, and only when we do that, acknowledge who we are, make accommodations to account for that, and build it the slow way, intelligently, without panic, and make sure that every single piece is being tended to. Coaching, development, schematics, in-game. If you're doing all those things, and talent and character and scheme fit and all those things, if you're doing that, that's when we'll get wins. We haven't done that. Sodek! Check it in. Sorry you waited so long, my friend. Bro, for the life of me, I still don't understand why we didn't eat Rodgers' cap hit all this year. It allows us to be more competitive in free agency next year. Well, because it's going to go up next year again. I'm with you. Maybe they had their targets on somebody. Maybe we're going to go get Amari Cooper. They can still cut Michael Clemens and make $3 million too. Like, we have a couple options too. Zerline, you can save a couple million. Clemens, you can save $3 million. So, I mean, there's a few things. So maybe they still got designs on some stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm with you. I'm a big fan of pulling the Band-Aid off. Rip it off. Deal with it. This is the year. That's why, look, it's one of the reasons that when people say we're clearly tanking, that I disagree. I'm like, I don't think we are. If you're tanking, you're not even signing Justin Fields. You're running into the season with Tyrod Taylor, who doesn't make it through seasons. Jordan Travis obviously just retired, but Jordan Travis and like another rookie. That's what you're doing. That's who you're going into the season with. And Tyrod Taylor will win you games, but he's not likely to make it the whole season. So he's going to play well. He's not great. He's solid, He's a guy you want to come in for 2 games a year. He'll play well, But look, if you're tanking, you're selling some stuff. Number one, you're trading a few assets. If you're tanking, you're eating that cap, the whole thing, this year, and you're not bringing in guys that like Justin Fields, who could, there's an argument that can be made, right? That no, Justin Fields is the tank. Okay, but why are you giving the tank $30 million? Like, that's where I'm like, you know what I mean? So, but I hear you. But look, the cap's going to go up 20 million more next year. You know what I mean? So it just wipes it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I hear you though. Dante, what's up, Dante? Good to see you too, buddy. IDK, baby. I'm leaning toward Mooj might not be good. Well, look, let me shoot straight with you, Dante. Don't tell anybody else in here, but I'm going to talk to you. I also ponder such things. I do. I ponder. But I think that both of us, and again, we'll come back to the group in a second, just me and you talking now. I think we're both being a little presumptuous. Again, when we were arguing this offseason about our coaching hopes, our hopefuls, I wanted, right? Remember who I wanted? I liked Ben Johnson. I liked Darren Glenn. I liked some other guys. I can't remember. They're like, oh, okay, that'd be interesting. There were guys I didn't like, Arthur Smith and those kinds of guys. But I had 2 guys that I wanted. And I wanted Vrabel. He was in our building. I am of the school of thought. Before the Pats job even opened up, I would have sat with Vrabel and said, look at me. You are the guy that we want. We want you to be the football czar. I'm willing to give you an 8-year contract with the option to extend to 10. I'm willing to give you $15 million a year. So 15 million times 8. Right? It's $134 million or some shit like that. Maybe 132. I don't know. Guaranteed. I'm willing to let you pick your GM. And you, even the general manager, will be the boss of all the scouts and all that shit and run that for you while you're building the football team. But when it comes to player personnel decisions, you get final say. This is your team. What I'm giving you is the opportunity to turn around one of the most tortured franchises in the history of the NFL. And I'm going to give you the resources, the capital, and the pay to support it. And I'm going to guarantee this. I'm not going to tinker. Not one bit. I'll always be available to you, but you will be able to spend every single penny of the cap. I won't even question you. I don't give a fuck if you want to spend 800, whatever. 85% of it on one guy. If you can figure it out, I don't care. I won't question a single thing. I won't make a suggestion. That's what I would have did. Is it 15? What do you need? 16.5 per year? What do you need? 20. Done. I don't care. Like, that's where I would have been. And then look at the coaching staff that he assembled for the Patriots. Again, 4 head coaches, including him. former head coaches on that staff. Guys that maybe they didn't succeed as a head coach. Maroney did, kind of, for the Bills and the Jaguars. He ended up failing, but guys that were failed head coaches in coach position, like that means that they were the creme de la creme of their position coach crop. So he's got 4 of them on this staff with a second-year quarterback with all the talent in the world. You know what I mean? So, and that's what I wanted. The other guy was Brian Flores. And I get why people don't like him or have concerns, but I wanted a guy, and I wanted the GM. I wanted a guy who's either done the GM job before or has been in the personal, 20 years, that kind of a thing. I wanted the guy from the Chiefs. I forget his name. Or I wanted not Phil Savage. I wanted Dorsey. I would have went to Dorsey's door. But then again, if I got Vrabel, I would have said, pick your fucking GM. I don't care who it is. You're his boss. So you just need a guy that you can work with. You know what I mean? But Brian Flores. And why do I want those things? Because, Dante, what I want to avoid is what we saw this year. But now that they're here, I am not going to throw. I can't not bitch in the moment. And the immediate period after, I'm disappointed. So I can't. But if they're a rookie who's never done the job before. Now, look, I have experience with this. I was like a guy who I worked in a detox, and then I was a program director in a rehab, and I was kind of the boss of certain aspects of it. But then they gave me the exam. But I used to always say, like, oh man, if I was running this place, what I would do is X, Y, and Z. It's not that complicated. You guys fucking overthink everything about it. It's real easy to bitch about the guy making the decisions when you're not the guy making the decisions. Even if you're number 2, it's easy to look up one rung and go, I'd be better than him. When I got promoted to executive director and the decisions were actually mine, and if they failed or succeeded was mine, my decision-making inherently changed. I didn't see it coming, but it did. I had to think about more variables. And I've seen some people that I've brought up and trained to become my position. I like to take people and help build their careers. I like to train people and give them everything I know. That's how I am. I like to do that. I've given them everything I could possibly give them, and they've gotten into position. They were great under me. They've gotten into position, and they've fucking flamed out in 6 months. They couldn't do it. So it's it's a different thing. So Mooj, maybe he's got all the respect of all the people and the Paytons and everybody, and they all love him. But now he's making the decisions for the first time. And he's never done that before. The management of the draft, who to take when. I want this guy. I really like this guy, but I don't have to take him here. I got a 90% chance, and knowing what your odds are, being able to let him slide to your next pick and get this guy and that guy, because this guy's not going to be there. You like this guy better than that guy. But this guy's definitely not going to be there then. So you take this guy because you like him more. That ain't it. You might like your 3rd round pick more than your 2nd round pick. You really might. But if the warts and the weaknesses are such that, and you're reading the tea leaves and you got eyes everywhere and ears, and you're picking up, like you can make you can't 100% anything, but you have an educated, firm, supported, opinion. This guy is likely to be a 5th round pick. Well, let's bring it 2nd and 3rd. This guy, I think he's every bit of the top end of the 2nd round, but he is 90+% going to be in there in the 3rd. even though I think he's got a better shot to start right away, if I think he's going to be there in the third, I don't just take him because I like him better. No. You can get him and this guy. So now, or you take the third rounder in the second, and then when you get to the third, you're looking at actual third round talent. And then, you know what I mean? You've lost an opportunity. That is a fucking skill, man. That is a true, the great GMs know how and when to pull the trigger and when not to. Like, look, even if this kid from Georgia, I can't even retain his name. What's his name? The young kid, the wide receiver we got. There it is. Thank Frigoli's got it up there. So Arian Smith over Jalen was already right there. So there he goes. And watch Jalen Royals for the Chiefs, and that's a great offense. Not to say he would have definitely had the same career here, because who knows? We know what the Chiefs. He's going to succeed. He's a good receiver. He's good, and you could have taken him. Now, the good report was they wanted Kyle Williams, and I would have loved that pick in the third. I really would have. So if they would have taken Kyle Williams in the third, remember the rumor was they would have traded up from the fourth into the back end of the third to get AZ. And that's a great, okay, fine. But that you had a one-man third, or two men, you had two players as your options. And like wide receiver being such a premium position, you only had one wide receiver that you were willing to use a third on? That doesn't make sense to me. So Kyle Williams, that was it? Kyle Williams a bust? Doesn't make sense. So look, Arian Smith might come out of the gate and be fantastic. And that would be great. And the simple fans, not stupid, but I'm just saying the surface fans, which is no shot, just the way, look, we all root differently. It's all great. Not everybody gives their fucking life to this shit. But those fans will say, look, you were complaining about this kid in the fourth round. And look at him. He's wide receiver 3. He's got 8 touchdowns and 750 yards from wide receiver 3. He's got 22 third down conversion. Why were you complaining? You clearly don't know what you're talking about. And that still doesn't take away what I'm saying. That's great. Nothing would make me happier, man. You know what I mean? And when they do those redrafts, if they're taking Arian Smith in the first, oh, yeah, clearly he was the best wide receiver in the draft and blah, blah, blah. The Jets were smart. Great. That doesn't change the fact that you could have gotten Jalen Royals or a defensive tackle or a safety. There were some good, strong safeties on the board there. You could have gotten both. And that's the difference between the Ravens and the Jets. You ever notice it? We talk about it every single year on the draft stream. Every single year, guys. The Ravens just sit right where they are. Every now and then they'll trade. Most of the time they sit like we're complaining. We got to trade up from 7. We got to trade up from 4 to get our guy. We're panicked at pick 4. They're at pick 22 and they're like, don't worry about it. We're going to get one of the best players in the entire round. How do they do that? Because they're cool, calm, collected. They got more than one fucking guy that they're willing to take in that position. You know what I mean? They're confident, where the Jets are not. And they know who to take. They know that, okay, this guy is not going to be there. And sometimes you'll look at the Ravens picks and you'll go, every now and then you'll go, like in the second, you go, wow, I can't believe they took that guy in the second. He's not even going to play this year. He's injured, like Jabo, whatever. And it's okay. Their third rounder is going to end up playing because they know how to manage the entire draft, not day one. Anybody can prepare for day one. Anybody can prepare for day 1 and 2. Day 3 is the magic. That's where the magic happens. And that bleed over from 2 to 3, that cusp. Even day 1 to 2 is another cusp. That's a real juicy cusp. If you can play with that and find a way to get value, I'll trade back 5 spots. Yeah, sure. You're going to give up this guy? I can't believe. Don't worry about it. I know what I'm doing. I'm not afraid. You know what I mean? So that's the whole thing. So Dante, getting back to your point, which is Muji might not know what he's doing, but that doesn't mean he sucks. It might mean that he doesn't know what he's doing yet. He doesn't even have his scouts in here yet. Remember, whenever they hire the GM, they keep the previous, because they did a year's worth of 2 years, 3 years worth of research on these guys. So it's foolhardy to go, everybody out, and we're starting over. It's like dumb. You got stockpiles of data. So you keep them and you use their data. Now, the problem is maybe their data sucks, right? There's that. But it's with the way it's done. You bring in a guy, you bring in a couple of your guys, but you got to keep, the soldiers, the pawns, the bishops. You know what I mean? You got to keep those guys. So you now Muji will now this year he'll keep some of these guys. He's going to get rid of some, and he'll bring in guys that he trusts. And then we'll start to see more of a cohesive thing. He now has a draft to look at, and then we'll see how his draft performs in the season. You know what I mean? And he'll start to hopefully learn. But even if he doesn't and he sucks, that's one thing. But no matter how you slice it, he's a rookie. And we're always going to deal with this from a rookie. And you go, what about the Redskins? Their first year, they did that. Yeah, well, they had the 3rd overall pick, so that's one thing. But they had 25 years of shitty GM hires. They got one. Okay? You know what I mean? It looks like they got one. But they, it takes time too. So, but it can happen. But more times than not, like the educated money would be like if you have $1,000 and you're going to put money on the first time rookie GM who's been, player development for 5 years, and he was this, and he's good resume, but younger, newer, and he's now in his first time job in the most heated, intense market in the NFL with the most rabid, ridiculously impatient fan base. If you have $1,000 to say, is he likely to come out of the gate and rock it? Or is he more likely to be a slow roll and maybe by year 3 he's settled? The smart money's on year 3, not year 1. Now, the emotion in us would go, no way, man, we got the guy. And we stupidly put our money on year 1. We do it every year. But the smart money is, of course, he's more likely to make mistakes first because he's a rookie. He's in New York. We're asking harder questions. We're throwing bigger rocks, bigger stones. We're louder. He's never experienced anything like us. The good news is Aaron Glenn, hopefully, is the real boss. Hopefully. And Aaron Glenn knows this. He knows this shit inside and out. Again, he was here 1-15. Look, so he was drafted by Pete Carroll. Was the victim of the fake spike. He wasn't just here for the fake spike. He was the guy who got the fake spike. 1-15. So Pete Carroll gets fired because we lost every game after he got fucking beaten on that fake spike. We lost every game the rest of that year. They fired Pete Carroll. They hired Rich Kotite. We went 3-13. So he loses 6 games straight. We were 6-4. Then we went to 6-5. We lost 6 straight games. Then we win 3 more games the next year, losing 13. Then we win 1 game, 1-15. We lose 15. Fire that coach. And now he's got two fired coaches in his first 3 years. Fake spike, fired, 3-13, 1-15, fired. Well, really resigned. Kotite resigned, to be factual, straight. Hire Parcells, 9-7. AFC Championship game loss. You know what I mean? He's been through it all, dude. And then he played his career, and he came back here again as a scout. So he knows he should be the boss. That's what I'm hoping. Sodak checking back in. Dude, I want to know why that collection of events doesn't work for the Jets. Sounds like a conspiracy, and I'm here for it. Tell us the facts. Well, I know, and you're this a little bit older. I was talking about that whole build, that whole thing, because they didn't account for us being the Jets, Sodak. Why doesn't it work for? We can ask that question till the cows come home. Until somebody walks up onto that podium and goes, listen, and this is what I would have did if they hired me as a GM, which they didn't, clearly. Nor did I expect them to, but they should have, right? I would have walked up to the podium, and in my first address, I would have said, I'm going to make a promise to you. I've lived here for the last 42 years. This is where I live. Here. I've watched the attempts, the failures, the hopes, the dreams, the collapses, the complete waste of times, the hiring of Adam Gase. I knew that was a fucking, I hope it's 1 or 2 years. That's all I said, because this guy's never going to work out here. He's coaching the way football, bullshit. You don't know what you're talking about. I would have said from that podium, the promise I'm going to make to you, it's going to be threefold. One, and most importantly, is we are going to build this team with one thing in mind at all times. This will be the consistent and most permeating thought in every single decision that we make, that we are the New York Jets, the most lucky, the most unfortunate, the most tortured, and the most beat upon, picked on, analyzed team in the NFL, period. And that means being extra cautious. You will never see me use a first or second round pick on a guy who enters the offseason or the draft with an injury. I don't give a shit what his potential is. Let him go to some place like Arizona. Let him go to some place like the Niners. He's going to have a great career. Look, you made a mistake. He's great for the Niners. Not here. Because if I draft him here, that injury's never going away. And I know this. Oh, you're saying you, fuck you. That's what I say to you. You really think that you can say that? What do you think that's a, what are you living in fear? Are you living in fucking fantasy land? Like, how about this? Get this guy out of my press room. You're now banned. Fuck off. Write your articles from outside. I'm going to give you a little tiny desk and a chair. You'll get to hear the press conference. You can write your articles from over there until you come in and you acknowledge the curse. Okay? I would say that will, every decision we make, is it going to work here? The weather, the turf, the fans, the press, the blah, that eat, the hot dogs, the fucking mothers, the traffic. Oh, that's what I'm factoring in. And I will have 4 offensive tackles that are starting caliber. I will have 2 minimum starting caliber quarterbacks. I will have 3 running backs that any one of them could be my starter. I will be 5 wide receivers deep at all times. If any one of them goes down, of course, one's going to be the one and better. And One goes down, we don't miss a beat. Everybody does this every quarterback has the same skill set. If something goes, you don't have to change a thing. My defense, I got 8 or 9 defensive linemen that can all be the starter. How are you going to do that? Don't worry about it. I know how to do that. Because I'm not an asshole. I'm not stupid. And you don't have to overcomplicate football, my friends. It's football. Yeah, but his 3-cone. Yeah, how about this? Here's what I'm going to tell you about your 3-cone. Stuff your 3-cone directly up your ass. Have you watched the 3 years of tape that I have on that guy? Oh, but he's slow. He gets 40. His 40 time, his 3-cone. Like, yeah, that's great. When he's on the field, he manhandles offensive linemen. And that's all I want him to do. I don't want him to fucking run no 3-cones. I don't give a shit. Yeah, but what happened? But that's representative when the quarterback slides out. And Bob, yeah, that's what my defensive ends are for. Don't worry about it. They're going to be doing something else. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to have, do you see what I'm saying? And they've never done that, Sodak. And that's why it doesn't work. That's why it doesn't work. And that's my first announcement. Oh, what about the other two? What about the other pieces? So the other thing I would say. So that's number 1. Acknowledge that we're the Jets. All right. Number 2. Number 2 is this. I want football players. There's not if you have a press conference where you are, if I get the impression that you are more concerned with yourself over the team, I won't even consider you. You're not even going to have that guy on your board? No. Why? Because I don't like him. That's why. I don't want him in my building. I don't want to have therapists in here. I don't want to have people mediating. I don't want to have people in damage control. Like I said, I call them bloody knuckles. Of course, you got to have athletic. You got a certain talent level. Of course. That's not what I'm saying. But everybody that comes into this building is going to be with the thought that we're a Jet, and they're going to be willing to. If I need my running back to go out there and play linebacker for whatever reason, my running back, if I grab his face mask and go, listen, kid, shit is hitting the fan. I know you're a fucking 5'10" running back. What I need you to do is I need you to go play middle line, and I need you just to, this is what I need you to do. One thing. Look at the quarterback. Where's the ball going? And fucking run into the guy with the ball. That's all I need a guy to go, send me in. And I would get that every single position. That's the type of player I bring in. What's the third thing? The third thing's a little bit out of the box. The third thing, and I think is vitally important, is I have to turn the fan base into not a critical machine. I have to actually take our fan base and the media for that matter, but fan base most importantly, I have to make them, us, the number one support mechanism. Now we're supportive. We always get shipped products. So you know what I mean? But you can't deny we're a little negative. All right. I have to change the perception of the fan base while we are building this. How do I do that? How do I do that? How do you do it, Dante? Well, it's not that hard. It's called inclusion. And it's called, like the Green Bay Packers, how they're owned by the fans, right? So those fans, dude, they are loyal. They are just as passionate as us, but they are always positive. Always. They're always going to support. If somebody needs the 2 year, 3, they're not going to throw shit at them. And I know how to do that. Of course, you're always going to have a butthole here and a butthole there. Guy walks into a stadium with a taser. He's getting into a fight. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? There's those guys. But what I'm going to do is engage the fan base, and not with some bullshit. Let me pick this off real quick, Dante. Not some bullshit fan experience. That's great for the guy. Don't get me wrong. I love all that shit. But that ain't it. What I'm doing is I'm going out to, content creators on one side, but everyday fans, and I am bringing them into practice. I'm bringing them into stadiums. I am bringing them in, and I'm having regular, like, Joe Douglas, you'd see him once and then you don't hear from him for 6 months. I'm doing fan stuff every single week, and I am bringing them in. I can't tell everything. There's shit I'm working on that I can't blow, but I'm bringing you in. I'm letting you know what the scoop is, and I'm letting you know where we are, and I'm letting you know what we're building and how long it's going to take and all this stuff. And I'm including everybody, and I'm getting the fan base to understand that we're going to do this thing. Those 3 things would change the franchise forever. Dante checking in. I know it doesn't matter, but I really wanted experience across the board. Imagine good and experienced head coach, DC, OC, yeah, right, and an actual president of football operations. I do hope I'm wrong. No, you're not wrong. Why is it that the Jets cannot get a president of football operations that comes from football? Why not? That's another thing I would pound the table for. And I'll tell you why that we don't do that. Because when they sit down and they have their financial report meetings, their quarterly reports, or whatever they do, they look at their books, and Jaime and Neil Glatt before him, they look at it, and this man has figured out a way, while we are winning 5 games and 4 games and 7 games and the most disappointing team in the NFL last year was the New York Jets. How did we make more money this year than the year before? How did you pull? Well done. Because that's their focus. Their focus is money. Now, I believe Woody wants to win. I do. But I don't think he wants to win if it means that the bottom line has to take a dip first. If that's what it's going to take, like, look, Woody, here's the plan. We're going to take a hit because I need this and I need that and I need this and I got to get rid of this. And they're not, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough year. How's that going to impact my bottom line? It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. We're going to lose some money this year. We're going to go not in the red. We're not going to lose, but profit's not going to go up. It's probably going to go down for a year, maybe 2. But at the back end of that, and here's the reasoning and the data and the supporting evidence that tells you this is the right direction. On the back end of this, we will make more money because we'll be a perpetual juggernaut that dominates the league and will attract more young fans and the whole thing, whatever. He's not willing to do that. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Hold on a second here. So, what does it all mean, friends? What does it all mean? It means that, once again, we're trying the same formula. And I'll give you the positive of this, Dante and everybody else. What it means is we've done the same thing that we always do, which is rather than fucking lock the doors and bring every big gun salesman and fucking every single thing, the checkbook guy, the dancing girls, the caterer, like all to keep Vrabel in the building. and you know what I mean? That whole thing. We didn't do that. So what we did was we did the thing we always do, which is we went and got a guy who's not big enough name to command and demand. You can make some demands, but he can't demand to me. It's a rookie head coach paired with a rookie GM running the team. And now we got a rookie offensive coordinator. We got an experienced defensive coordinator. But, it's the same thing. The only thing that changes it a little bit is that we don't have a rookie quarterback. It's the only thing. Because that's what we did. We do that too. You know what I mean? So here's the positive. And I don't know if it is or not, but it's a spin. Is that if that's your plan, then you keep throwing it, you keep throwing the dart. You know what I mean? And you stay to it and you refine it. And it is different because it's Aaron Glenn this time. And he's a 2-time Jet and knows, you know what I mean? Like, so you stick with that plan. And it's like, the thought is you keep trying this, you keep swinging that bat. Don't switch sports. Keep swinging the bat. And eventually you're going to connect. Okay. Then I'm in. I'm here. But that said, my expectations are low. You know what I mean? I don't have any real expectations. So, that's where we are here, guys. So let's do this. I have to tell you guys about House of Atlas. And by doing that, first thing I'll do, first you got to let me know if you can hear this. Can you hear it?
What makes a man an Atlas man?
Can you hear that? I got to make sure first. Tell me if you can hear it, Beefy. Tell me if you can hear it. Because last time I played an ad, you guys couldn't. You can hear it. Beefy can hear it. All right. Here we go.
Makes a man an Atlas man. He uses House of Atlas shave gel for a closer, more soothing shave. But it takes more than that. It takes ambition, resourcefulness, intuition, and the kind of look that says, I'm winning this poker hand, no matter what cards I'm holding. But above all, it takes a razor that's as sharp and smooth as the man it's shaving. Greatness looks good on you. Welcome to Atlas.
Oh, man. I've got to put my... So, guys, here's the thing. I brought them up before. House of Atlas. I'm currently using House of Atlas razors, right? This is the truth. Now, I'd have it here with me, but I didn't bring it in. So I'm going to tell you about it. I showed you the video, but here's the most important thing and why I love it. If anybody knows about facial beard, it's me, guys. All right. I look at and pay attention. You see me. I comb my damn beard all day. And in order to have the beard, I got to keep the line. Right. So this is the best thing. Like, you can choose a razor, and people say razors are razors. I disagree, but there has to be something that differentiates one from the other. House of Atlas razor. And why I love it is the precision edge that it has. You hit the little button on the back of what looks like a regular old razor. I mean, it's good looking, ergonomic, but looks like a razor. And a little precision edge comes up, and it is the absolute game changer of razors. But here's the most important thing with House of Atlas. You're going to go to houseofatlas.com/greenbean. The 15% off offer that I offered you last time is being doubled to 30% off, guys. 30% off. Now, listen, it helps support the channel, but more importantly, It's going to change the shave game. The precision edge is, you're not going to see it anywhere else. Yes, it has the comfort strip with aloe, natural ingredients. It's beautiful. But again, what separates it for me, the razor is great. It's great. It's the precision edge. It's like no other razor I've ever seen. And it pops up, ping, and you can do all the stuff. And you guys, especially you young guys, all the little things you do, I see you guys. When I was in Florida, I went to a Hispanic barbershop. You want to know why I went there? Because those guys fucking mean business. They don't, it's not a 10-minute, get out of here. You spend an hour in that chair, and those guys are looking. And the precision and everything. There's one hair out. Like, wait. They get the one hair. That's what this enables you to do right in your own bathroom. 30% off, guys. houseofatlas.com/greenbean. Or when you go to the site, get to checkout, use the promo code greenbean, and they're going to take 30% off your order. That is the offer I have for you. houseofatlas.com. Don't forget about it. It's not just another razor. And I thank House of Atlas for hanging out with us late night style. So this is a great question. Look at this. Beefy says, who did Glenn scout anyway? Right? That's an interesting question. Now, he was an area scout. So remember, what an area scout does is they have a certain region, and they go to those schools in that region, and they get all the intel on, they speak with the coaches, and they develop the relationships, and they talk to the parents if they can, and they get all the intel on these players from that region, whether they're draftable, not draftable, and everything. But their job isn't so much to pick. Like their region there could be nobody there that we take. But their job is to compile the information and bring it in to present. Now, a good general manager and front office staff will want to hear what the area scouts say. Now, I'm not in there. We've seen the flight series when Joe Douglas was meeting with his scouts and all that shit, and he would want their opinions. He'd go, okay, as they're narrowing it down, he would go, okay, so give me your guys. And he'd go, listen, this kid from, the University of Texas, he's a junior and he's being overlooked, but here's what I want to point out. And they go, he's got this, he's got that. And here's what I really want you to know that nobody's talking about. And they would do that stuff. And they'd say, well, what about this thing we're hearing about this court case? And you go, I did all the research and it's about to be expunged. So it's not going to be an issue. Or, look, he's talented as shit. I wouldn't touch him. He's a problem. That kind of a thing. And then what Joe Douglas did as well, when he really narrowed it down, he said, okay, we're on the clock kind of a thing. And you go, it's between Tom Buchanan and Bill Baloney. Who are you taking? And then he'd go around, you know what I mean? And so he'd hear everybody. And that, I liked that. I think that's healthy. But it's still his decision. They could all say, well, Tony Baloney's the better one. They could all say that. And he can go, I'm taking Buchanan over here. He could. Then he should fire everybody if he's disagreeing with him like that all the time. But so like an area scout isn't really responsible for who we select and all that shit. They're responsible. And if they're good at it, they're getting the intel in a way that the general manager doesn't have to spend days and hours sifting through it. Here's the presentation. Then they have their system, so they're just going to adhere to the system. But a really good area scout, what they're going to be able to do is find the tidbits that maybe other people aren't finding, the X factors. And go, look, man. Here's why I think this guy, when we get to the 5th round, he's definitely going to be there. 99% chance he's still there. I talked to his uncle, and his uncle pointed me to this coach who coached him over here, whatever. And this is something that nobody knows. So if they're the guy that can weasel in and get those really solid relationships and get the real good, then that's a good area scout. Now, was Glenn that? I don't know, but he did get high. He got taken. Now, I think he went right from 2 years with us to coaching. He only did the scouting to kind of have that background. But again, in his first 2 years as an area scout, what do you really expect? But it's a great question. What if he gave us a Darius Stewart? Said, this is the guy. I don't think that was the year anyway. That was before him. Right? McCagnon. So he came here. Let me see. Let me see here. You guys hitting the milk thumbs for me? You guys hitting that like button? Let me see how many likes we got over here. Let me see. You guys doing that for me? We got on YouTube. Man, I am really slow today. I don't know what it is. I'm dragging ass. Let me close those things now. No. Yeah, I guess you kind of are. You got a light crew. Was it? Yeah, right. Tony G likes baloney. I hear you. He spelt it wrong. And they look, here's the thing with baloney, Tony Baloney. Tony spent it. Let me find that so we can talk about it real quick. So look, Tony G says, I'm a baloney fan. Now, here's the thing. That's not how you spell baloney. Baloney is spelled Bologna, Bologna, right? We know that from the Oscar Mayer song. My baloney has a first name. It's OSCAR. Second name is MAYER. And they say BOLOGNA, right? That's how they did that. I can't believe I even got that far with that shit. That's like 8 years old. I don't know how I pulled that out, but they added the way you're spelling it, and now that's technically acceptable. So I'm, Tony, you're in the club. You're safe. But they only did that because everybody's a fucking idiot, not you, because you're just adhering to the rules. It's fine. Because nobody could do it. I mean, what doesn't say it? I need it to look like baloney. So they changed it to baloney. When did they change the spelling of Bologna? See, they are both baloney. Oh, and that's, you know what? You are wrong, Tony. It's BOLONEY is the Americanized version because we're a bunch of, I don't give a fuck how you spell it. It's how we are. No, we're going to spell it this way. We're going to do this. Wait, so here it is. When did baloney become baloney? Hold on real quick. I know. I tell you, sometimes I can't even stand myself, so I get it. Italians immigrated, and I said they brought their food with them. And bologna, B-O-L-O-G-N-A, started to grow in popularity around this time that Americans who struggled to pronounce the Italian word morphed it into bologna. There was a Bologna boom, bologna boom, but spelled Bologna, during the Great Depression. So right around the 1920s, 30s, during the Great Depression, not the 20s, the 30s, right? The Depression, yeah. That's when we just were like, I can't see it. Sluggo, what's up, buddy? Evening to you, sir. So we couldn't have it. We're like, no. It's funny, isn't it? We are something else. We really, really are. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm very, very proud. I'm very grateful. Like, here's the thing. I am one who I have to focus on gratitude every day. when I don't. And not to say that I do, but I know when I don't because I get really ungrateful. And I start to think, oh, everything in my life sucks. Why me? Poor me. This fucking thing. That guy. Why traffic? Man, red lights. The fucking lady over there. That's what I do. I'm not making enough money. All that. And if I don't focus on gratitude every day, then I become a complete asshole. Right? So when I do that, I become acutely aware of something because I have a long drive to work. It's about I work from home some days and then I go to this treatment center in Charlottesville and it takes me 55 minutes to get there. So that's an hour. It takes me an hour there and an hour back. And there's a little chunk of that drive that is in the city of Charlottesville, which is a small city. There's some traffic, but it's nothing. They complain about it here, but it's nothing. I've lived in LA, I've lived in Vegas, and I lived in New Jersey, and I lived in New York. And I lived in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. And believe me when I tell you, those are the most highly congested, you know what I mean, traffic areas in the country. And probably Chicago and Dallas. Dallas is nothing. I didn't live there, but I've been there many times. But so there's a little piece of my drive that's that, like maybe 15%. So 85% of my drive is windy roads, one lane. There's farms, there's trees, I drive by Thomas Jefferson's house and James Monroe's house. You know, it's my trip. It's windy mountain roads, you know. And then there's the farms, the cows and all that shit and the big, huge fields. And I become acutely aware of one thing, that during this entire trip, and I drive to New Jersey, I drive to Baltimore, you know, 3.5 hours to Baltimore. It's 5 to 7 hours to Jersey, depending. And not one time on that whole trip, I drive an hour in, an hour out every day, and then I drive all over the fucking place. Not one time have I felt I was in any danger ever of running into like a checkpoint with machine guns, warlords. You know what I mean? Like that. I am acutely aware of the amazing circumstance that I've been placed in, which is why my life is in large part, not always, but a lot of my life is focused on helping people because I am grateful for the gift. Not everybody lives this way, right? So anyway, so when I make fun of us for not being able to handle BOLOGNA, we got to fucking change it to BOLONEY because we're fucking can't handle it. It doesn't say baloney. It's Bologna. Bologna. We can't do it. I want to say baloney, and that doesn't say baloney, so check it out. It's not spelt that way. It's spelt like this. Everyone goes, yeah! Like I can make fun of us for that, but believe me when I tell you, man, it's like, it's like making fun of the Jets fans. I can make fun of us. I can go, dude, we're ridiculous. You shut the fuck up. Why you been? But make no mistake, I am us. I am certainly one of us. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful to be us. Matthew Little F.U.K. Smith. Late night. Well, I do this on Tuesdays. And now I'll tell you this, guy. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to do this next week, I think, but I'll probably do this on Wednesday because I believe we're moving the panel next week to Wednesday night because we want to coincide with the release of the schedule. Then I'm taking the next couple months off from content. I'll probably do like one thing a week. But so we got like 1 or 2 more weeks of this until training camp, the end of July. Okay. So let me checkpoint Charlie, baby. Look at this. I am woman. Hear me roar. You're so funny, man. What else we got? You guys talking about me? Right? The Batoni. Am I right? Am I wrong? I mean, 70% of the world, they're worried about that shit. Like, think about this, man. And again, not to be political, just a fact of where I am with no judgment where anybody else is. There's a lot of places in this world that when they hear a helicopter fly over, they're ducking. They're terrified. I hear a helicopter come over. I look at it. I go, oh, or I don't even hear it. Me, it doesn't even register. And for that, I'm grateful, man. You know what I mean? I'm fucking grateful. Look at this. See this? Look at this water. Do you understand? I drink. They're not always in this. This is like this is a Bustelo thing. My wife likes to take these, and I'll show you. She likes to take these and drill holes in them. My wife does this. And we get these big straws, and this is our iced coffee thing. So this is a whole thing of coffee, and we make iced coffee out of it. So anyway, I use them as containers, but I drink, without exaggeration, anywhere between 3 to 10 of these a day. And it always looks like this. You understand? Who am I to complain? Now, you know what I mean? That is why I love you guys. Right there. Because we can say, you know what I mean? Yeah, of course. Right. Thank you. Fucking please, somebody help me. Shut this guy up. All right. So shut me up, mess. Let's see. Aaron Glenn. Let's just do this. So Aaron Glenn, we'll see what year he was a scout. So he was a scout player, as a coach, administrator. Oh, look at this. He actually started with the Houston Stallions, everybody. Nobody knows that. But as far as the NFL goes, 2012 and 13. Everybody knows what that year is, right? What year is that? Anybody remember? Come on. Who knows? I'm not going to answer it. I know. Who was our GM? It's interesting too. Could you might say something? Don't look it up, you cheats. You're supposed to know. Eddie drinks water. See? Yeah, man. Good. I'll tell you what, though, Eddie, not all water is created equal. You ever heard of hungry water or thirsty water? Like if you're drinking water, water's got a job to do. It's like hydration, right? What is hydration, right? So water's got a job to do. It's to cleanse you. In order to cleanse you, it has to be able to things have to be able to dissolve in it, right? So toxins, whatever, rocks. It's like Woody Johnson. You can't have grass because then we got to worry about rocks. Remember that? That was funny. So if you're just drinking faucet water, which I do drink, I'm not afraid of it. But if you're, drinking 2 gallons of water, it sounds like you're a purposeful water drinker. Look into the idea of thirsty water. It's either thirsty water or hungry water. There's a whole philosophy behind it. And that's where like really purified water, like I have a Berkey, which is the shit. So by the time I drink the water, there's nothing in it. It's water. There's not chlorine. There's not, all the bacteria, all the shit. I don't need fucking minerals in my water. I'll get that somewhere else. I want my water to do what water needs to do. Number one, I want it to be, absorbable by my body. I want it to be clean. But the other thing is I want it to be able to pull the stuff out with it. So water, the best is distilled. There it is. I knew it. I almost insinuated that you had something like a Berkey, buddy. I was right. I was with you. It's like when me and Hennessy and me and Dante and me and Dick Chimney's Burner before, same thing. I'm like, yeah, I guarantee this guy's on it. So anyway, I don't mean to be, Well, you're spelling it wrong. You know, well, not you. Wait, Matthew, you're spelling it wrong. That spelling, yeah, I understand. But you look at how Eddie spelled it. Now you feel better. Matthew, look at how Eddie spelled it, and then come back and see. Do you see the difference? That seems dirty. The Berkey is the shit. And I look at the other way. You're like, oh, you'll see. So, right. So, who put it? No, not Mike McCagnon. It's real. It's weird because it could be. So it's like real. It's the cup. It's the cusp. I thought it was. It could either be Tannenbaum or Idzik because that's it's 2012. So Tannenbaum got fired in 2012. So I don't remember exactly where. I thought it was Tannenbaum that hired Aaron Glenn. So, anywho, yeah, that's what I have Celtic sea salt on my counter. That's what we put in for electrolytes. It's so funny. Yeah, right, Eddie? You did. Who knew? Anywho, so guys, we're in the dead time of year. It's 12 o'clock at night. I got to go to work, as you guys know. Making no money. That's what I do. But yeah, so 2012, that draft was Idzik, but Tannenbaum was. I don't know who hired Aaron. Let me look that up. Aaron Glenn, Jet Scout. Hold on. First started you, Jets, and wanted to join in coaching. I know I'm trying to go as like a player. Let me see. Breaking Aaron Glenn. Mike Tannenbaum. See? I knew it. But it's right there, Beefy. That's the thing is 2012, Tannenbaum was fired and hired. We hired Idzik in that year. So that's where I was right there. But I felt strongly that it was Tannenbaum. And it says right here in this article, Aaron Glenn. Here, I'll read it to you. All right. So Glenn called Jets general manager Mike Tannenbaum regarding opportunities to begin his scouting career and then attended this year's Senior Bowl and NFL Combine workouts on my own dime to observe Mike T, assistant general manager Scott Cohen, senior personnel executive Terry Bradway, assistant director personnel JoJo Wooden, and the Jets draft team. There are no better guys to learn from than Mike, Scott, Terry, and JoJo, Glenn said. Another close friend of mine is Bill Parcells, who I talked to during this whole transition. And he said this then. I guess the humbling part, the part I'm most proud of, is being able to come back to the team that gave me a shot. My first opportunity to set foot on an NFL field and be part of an NFL roster gave me a chance to show what I feel I could do in this league. I think it's important to me to show that no matter where I went, I had a soft spot in my heart for the team that gave me my first opportunity. So this is back in 2012. He was already talking that shit. You know what I mean? So he called the Jets. They didn't call him. You know what I mean? He maybe a little bit greased tracks, but he called the Jets. All right, let's end this poll. Just wanted to see how you guys feel. So in the coming weeks, we're going to be announcing our Talking Jets game, the game that we're going to be meeting up at. And which game I'm going to go into that stadium and watch the Jets lose again. So, would you want to come hang with me when we watch the Jets lose? Let's see. I got to win once, right? The last time I saw them win live was in 2015. And I've been to at least one game every year, sometimes two, because I don't live there anymore. I used to go to every game, but now it's like one a year at least, and then sometimes two. Like every third year, it's kind of two. I went to two years ago. I went to the opening day. No. I went to the night game against the Chargers. Then I went to the Black Friday game. What a shit game that was. That was terrible. So you guys, the question was, are you planning to come to our Jets game meetup this year? Need the deets, dude, before I make my decision, was the top one with 40%. That I think is what if there's a right answer, I think that's the right one. I mean, I'm interested, but are you going to be last game of the year in the cold? Is that what you're doing? I got to know these things. The other thing, the number 2, screw you, basically saying, hell no, I'm not going with fucking. Why would I go to a game with loser GreenBean, who's only seen 1 touchdown the last 5 times he's been in the stadium? 1 offensive touchdown. Is that not the worst? Is that not terrible? Not even garbage time. The Chargers game, the night game, we got all the way to the 1-yard line at the end of the game. I would have taken that. Nope. Didn't get it. 1 offensive touchdown in the last 5 games. Why would I go with that asshole? Because it's got to turn around. That's why. And then hell yeah, 26% said yes. So 66% of you are interested. That's pretty good for now. I'll take it. I hope a lot of you come. The truth is, last year was rough because it was raining the entire time. As fun as it can be, and we made it fun. There's no doubt. There's no way to have there's no way that rain isn't negatively impacting an outside hang, no matter how you slice it. So good shit, guys. What draft, Friggle D? You want to go over what draft? Let me see if you set it up here. Yeah, dude, Friggle, this Friggle. Tell me what draft you're talking about. Look, Anunwa was the best pick of the Idza era. All right, he was a 6th, I believe. He was the 3rd wide receiver that we took in that draft because we had 12 picks. Right? We had Jalen. Fuck, man. It's tough. I want to say Rose, but that's not it. Jalen Mills. I don't know what his name is. But then we had the kid from UCLA. Shaq Barrett, maybe? Anyway, so Quincy Enunwa, late round pick, ended up being the best pick. And let me tell you something about Quincy Enunwa. He was a certifiable badass. Unbelievable. Problem, couldn't stay healthy. Okay, fair enough. And he had serious injuries, back, neck, right? That kind of stuff. And it's not even that we signed him to an extension, Friggledy. That's bad enough. While he was injured with a serious neck injury, we gave him an extension. The egregious part of all that is that our general manager, who already decided to give a perpetually injured player an extension with guaranteed money, he put in the contract injury guarantees. You want to talk about a guy who should not be running an NFL team? It's Mike Maccagnan. Now, Idzik was actually, I know Idzik gets shit on more than Maccagnan, but the truth is he was a significantly better GM than Mike Maccagnan. Mike Maccagnan reaped the rewards of Idzik. Now, but here's the thing. It's not to say Idzik was a good GM, but what Idzik was good at was the books, the numbers. The problem was he came onto this team with Rex Ryan, who had already been here 4 years and was powerful enough in the organization to get Mike Tannenbaum, who hired Rex Ryan, fired. Now, I don't think he's got him fired, but he was able to distance himself from they were a unit, and he was able to make Tanny out to be the reason they sucked. When Tanny built the team that Rex, with Mangini, built the team that Rex benefited from. So what happened was Idzik came here because nobody else was going to come here with Rex Ryan being the real power. No GM worth their salt was going to come here. Like, no way, I'm going to be fired in 2 years. And if I keep the job, I'm going to be Rex's bitch. I'm not doing it. Idzik said, well, I'm not going to get any other opportunities, so of course I'll take it. If it fails, I go back to what I do, which is numbers. If I win, if it works, great. So we blame Idzik for those picks. Not to say he had no say, but when you look at the picks, they are clearly Rex Ryan's picks. And if you think that if Rex Ryan wanted man A and Idzik wanted man B, that Rex Ryan didn't win, you are just a fool. So what that dynamic was Rex Ryan was the players, the actual selections, with some Idzik, but Rex Ryan was the players, and Idzik was the numbers. Now, during those 2 years, we're flying banners, fire Idzik. But meanwhile, he took the mess that Tannenbaum made. Now, he made it for good reason. He got us to 2 consecutive AFC championships. He went for it. Now, the Sanchez extension was ill-advised, right? He didn't need to do that, but he did. So when Idzik came here, he had to clean all that up. And he did. He took a terrible cap situation and he created $70+ million in cap space in 2014, really. And Mike McCagnon came here. He had $75 million bucks. He had the 6th overall pick. And what did he do? Remember? Leonard Williams slid to him. He was the consensus best player in the draft. Mike McCagnon had no fucking balls or brains of his own. So he just said, oh, everybody thinks he's the best. Can't believe he's there at 6. Let me take him. No, it's a fine pick. But, we had Sheldon Richardson. We had Muhammad Wilkerson. We had snacks. There's no reason for take Sheldon Leonard Williams. And that's what McCagnon did. He used more picks on first-round picks on non-premium positions. It was ridiculous. It's just like, again, you can see, like, the guy doesn't know what he's doing. This is a waste of time. He trades up for Sam Darnold, and he goes, now I'm going to build around him, and he takes 2 fucking defensive tackles and a tight end. Like, what are you doing, dude? You know what I mean? So he went out. He took that $75 million, and he went and he re-signed Revis. He re-signed Cromartie. He brought in nickelback Buster Screen. He brought in safety Marcus Gilchrist. There was somebody on the offense. He got Gino Giacomini, I believe, right tackle, who was okay, but, not great. You know what I mean? So it's like, but so Idzik, for his part, he came here as the office side. He was never going to be good at picking players. And when you look at his drafts, the first draft was the strongest wide receiver draft in NFL history up to that point, with the likes of, who was the guy that the Bills traded up for? Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans, Odell Beckham, Brandon Cooks, and a whole bunch more. Then you had the Kelvin Benjamins and the, all those guys. They were all in that draft. The Jets needed a wide receiver, and it was the clear pick. Brandon Cooks was the pick. And everybody expected the Jets to take Brandon Cooks. Number 1 need, number 1 strength of the draft, and he's sitting right there. And they go, the New York Jets with the 18th overall pick or whatever it was. select safety, strong safety from Louisville, Calvin Pryor. Does that sound like Rex or not? Okay, maybe not. But you could argue it's not. It does, but you could say, oh, maybe, but maybe not. It's not definitive. Okay, fair. But then we took Calvin Pryor over the real top safety in the draft, who was Clinton Dix. And he was more of a all-around safety. He had better ball skills, could hit, could tackle, but he was more, of a free safety-ish. And he was gonna, he was the top safety. We took Calvin Pryor. So not only a non-premium position, not only the wrong position, because we needed a wide receiver, and that's the strength, and the fucking badass is sitting there, Brandon Cooks. And so not only those things, but then on top of that, you take the wrong guy on top of the wrong position at the wrong time in the wrong draft. But here's the truth of it all. And here's the confirmation. Is when Rex got criticized, he was being asked, but in a critical way. Why didn't you if you're going to take a safety, why didn't you choose Clinton Dix? And he said this, and remember, Rex, like some other people out there, they flap, talkers talk. Yeah, and look, and I'm one of them, so I get it. When the more words you say, the more likely you are to say words you regret. Okay? It's fucking, and it's harder to keep a cap on shit if you're trying to keep things close to the vest and secrets and shit like that. If you're a talker, you're going to tell on yourself at some point. And Rex told on himself. He said, I took the guy who'll knock your head off. That's why I took him. He didn't say we. He didn't say Idzik. He said, I took the guy who will knock your, I think he said knock your face off. That's why I took him. Remember Quentin Coples in the Tannenbaum years? Quentin Coples was an amazing talent. Rex Ryan met with him and said to him, and talked about it to everybody. If you're on the board when the Jets are on the clock, I'm taking you. What about Tannenbaum's opinion? Now, the knock on Quentin Coples, he's a specimen. He's big, tall, long, his wingspan, his reach, his speed, his bend, it was all there. Strong, fast. The knock on him was that he takes plays off, and not just plays, sometimes drives, other times games. Rex thought, give that guy to me. And I get it. Didn't work. He had his games, Quentin Coples, but overall, fucking super flop. 3 years here, and then 2 years in the NFL, he's gone. But look at the next draft with Idzik. Idzik 12. Now, wait a minute. The first year, that was the second year, Calvin Pryor. The first one, right? Oh, man. I know my shit, but boy, oh boy. Hold on a second. Let me see here. Sometimes I'm in the pocket, but let me see here. What the fuck is that? Wait, 2. Here we go. Let me see here. So the Idzik 12 was the second year. Yes. And so this 2013 was the first year. 2014 was the Idzik 12. So here's the other thing. Remember what Idzik did. Idzik came in here, and granted, there was a lot of people, but so they traded Idzik. I'm sorry, they traded Revis to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a first-round pick and a conditional third. The condition was he had to be on the roster at the first day of the league year the following year. He's the best cornerback in the NFL. Of course he's going to be on the roster. He's going to be a third-round pick. So we traded him for I think it was the 9th overall pick, right? Oh, my God. Traded him for the 9th overall pick, and then they cut him, the Bucs. So our third went to a 4th. So they said, all right, whatever. Or, yeah, I think it was a 4th. And then, see, like the brilliant move would have been, because he was just coming off that torn knee surgery. So we thought, okay, he's demanding $16 million, which at the time was crazy. So we saved that $16 million, and you take a player, we don't know what he's going to be, and his rehab year, you send him away. So that first year, more than likely, he's not going to be Revis. He might be good, but he's going to take a minute to get back to speed. So you send him to the Bucs. You get a first-round pick and now ultimately a 4th-round pick. They cut him. The brilliant move would have been, and Revis, the rumor is, he wanted to come back. He wanted to play for Rex. The brilliant move would have been to sign him. So what you would have done was gotten a first-round pick and a 4th for some other team to deal with his rehab year. And then you get him back. It would have been brilliant. But no. What did they do? Remember? And he signed with the Pats for $12 million. For 1 year, got a ring. Idzik was fired. McCagnon brought him back. See, but anyway, so that first year, though, you remember our picks? Again, I'm supporting the idea that Rex was a real boss. Again, he's been here 4 years, 2 AFC championship games, and an 8-8, 2011. Right? Or, yeah, 2012. I think that's what it was. So, we trade Revis. We have the 9th overall pick. And, the 13th. We had the 9th overall pick. We got the 13th overall pick from the Bucs. That's how it went. Look at the picks. So we just traded Revis. So it does make sense. But, again, a GM that's factoring in that we're the Jets, and smart GM, knows that you had the best cornerback potentially in NFL history, at minimum in the NFL at that time. There was an argument that Nnamdi Asomugha, there was an argument, but it was like, come on. He's great, but he's not fucking Revis, all right? So you got the best cornerback in the NFL. You trade him, and you have the 9th overall pick. And what did they do? So not only was D. Milner, the cornerback from Alabama, injured and seriously injured. Like he was a super crazy talent, but he's injured. So again, my philosophy is we are the New York Jets. You don't do that. Not with the top 10, not even in the first round am I doing it. But with top 10 pick, I'm going to use that on a kid who's injured is bad enough. But here's the other thing that you got to factor in. I have made this kid's rookie season at minimum a steep uphill battle because he is replacing directly the greatest cornerback in the NFL, potentially NFL history. Obviously, there's discussions to be had, but he's in the conversation, and definitely in Jets history. Aaron Glenn and James Hasty right after him. So you're going to take this kid coming off an injury and you're going to replace Revis? You got to know. You got to look at the X factors, the intangible aspects of this, the unmeasurables. The moment he struggles, 75% of the Jets fans are going to be screaming that he sucks and that he's not Revis. And you've created a dynamic that is ripe for fans to be venomously angry with you, the organization, and the poor 21-year-old kid. Do you see what I'm saying? But again, because Rex was the coach and the ultimate decision maker there, this is what tells me that it's Rex. Number one, it's a cornerback. And the whole thing with Rex, what was the thing that we heard when we hired Rex? Fuck was the Ravens coach's name? Not Kunda. What the hell was his name? Bobby or Brian. What was the coach's name before Harbaugh? Brian. What was his name? Brian. Now that ain't Jeremy. That's not the right Jeremy. Is Jeremy in here? He's not in here. Jeremy sucks. Brian Billick. Beefy. Thank you, Beefy. You're crushing it tonight. Thank you. Brian Billick said this about Rex Ryan. One thing I can say about Rex, and that you need to know, he loves cornerbacks. What was the first pick in the Rex Ryan era for the Jets? Remember? Kyle Wilson, cornerback. All right. So here we are, cornerback again. So there's that supports it. But here's the real reason you know. Two reasons. The next two reasons. One is because clearly this kid's being set up to fucking fail. But Rex, Rex, and I love Rex. Ben Braden from New Zealand. That's right. You know the deal. I love it. That's one of my faves, by the way. It's one of my favorite faux pas that I made consistently. I just couldn't get past it. But you know damn well that Rex looked at that issue. Injured, replacing Revis. Fuck yeah. Damn right he's going to replace. We're going to make him we're going to be better than Revis. You know him. That's how he is, which is good on one hand, but he can't be the boss. That caveman, again, I'm of that ilk. I'm bloody knuckles, right? Football players, fucking defensive line. I come from that. But you got to have an executive mind. You got to be able to look at more than bluster. That's got to be in. But you got to also factor in the other shit. We're going to replace Darrelle Revis with a kid with a top 10 pick, a young kid with an overbite. Looks like a country bumpkin, right? Coming to New York. He's super docile. He's injured, overbite, country, top 10 pick, replacing Revis. So you got to factor that in. No. I replaced her. I'm looking at my cornerbacks in the second round. I'm getting a free agent. I'm doing, you know what I mean? You don't do that. You don't try to match it. You're not going to, it's going to fail. He's the best ever. He's guaranteed to fail. And what happened? He was perpetually injured. He had one game. He had like 3 picks in one game. It was crazy. In his second year. And that was it. He sucked. He was done. We never saw him. But not only that, we had a second first-round pick 13. Who did he take? A defensive tackle. Sheldon Richardson, who I liked. But I was like, I cannot believe we don't have we don't have any wide receivers. We don't have a fucking running back. We don't have anything. It's the best. I forget who I wanted them to take. I'm looking at the list. I can't remember who I wanted them to take, but it wasn't Sheldon Richardson. I was looking at, I believe it might have been wide receivers. It might have been the tight end, Tyler Eifert. I don't think so, though. I feel like DeAndre Hopkins, probably. That's probably who I wanted. Cordarrelle Patterson. And, there were a guard, Kyle Long was there. I mean, there's all kinds of guys. Remember Star Latui? He's another one. He sucked. Anyway, guys, it's like fucking 1 a.m. What are we doing here? Let me look at some comments real quick. Let's see. Oh, Joe the Jet G. I hope Garrett Nussmeier is our quarterback in 26. Well, you know what's going to be cool? Looking at this season. Look, obviously we're going to be rooting for Justin Fields. Even if you don't like Justin Fields, I would imagine you'd be happy if he ends up being the latest reclamation at quarterback. A guy who was in a bad situation, had some rough years, and kind of gets with a better coaching, and they build around him and succeeds. I'm sure even the guys like JJ Hamza, who from the word go said, dude, we can't sign this guy. That's his opinion. It's great. And I'm not a Justin Fields guy either. I do see more potential than he does, but still, like, I think even JJ, if Justin Fields comes out and he throws for, let's call it 3,200 yards and rushes for 1,000, and he has 24 touchdowns and, 10 picks, plays very efficient, like really, and we're 9-win teams, I think we're all going to be happy with that. And it looks like, okay, we can add some more, and the line's gelling, and the running game's really good. We got, Brees has 1,300 on the ground. You know what I mean? Like you see it. The offense is buzzing and all that kind of shit. I'm sure we'll all be happy. So that's one thing. But I think the college season is going to be really interesting this year for us. Because not only will we be watching Fields, but we're going to be watching this potentially next great quarterback class. And who's going to come out? Who's going to come out, number one? Who's going to, some of these guys, like now we're saying one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL draft next year. And then they have that shit season, very pedestrian. And they, all of a sudden they, or guys that we're not talking about, they have that, that Joe Burrow year. Joe Burrow was essentially a 1-year guy. It came out of pretty much nowhere. So, but it's going to be really interesting because, there's a nice crop, and then there's some outside guys that who knows. So I think it's going to be really interesting to keep our eyes on that stuff. It's going to be fun. This is true. Herm was an interesting one, right? Herm, if you guys remember, by the way, Jets, I want to point this out because there's all the talk about, minority hires and all this kind of shit. The Jets are in this one area, I'm very delighted. Not to say that I want to hire anybody because of anything other than they're good, right? But I like that the Jets were way ahead of the curve with considering and being unafraid to do things within this realm. Because Herm was a pre-Rooney Rule hire, right? And check this out. Herm was a fucking defensive backs coach. He wasn't even a head position, fucking coordinator. Hey, Matthias Simon. This is my buddy right here. So Matthias Simon and I've mentioned him many times. We met on the Rivals Jets message board in like the late 90s, 1997, 96. Like I was talking to Matt online when we hired Parcells, like during the Coat-Tight years and shit, before YouTube, before any of this shit. We were like doing this, looking at the draft, me and Matt and a bunch of others. Tin Star, you see in here, Connecticut Jets fan. There's a few of us that are still around in here. And then Matt, when that closed down, Matt made a board called the Greenhouse, and that's where we all lived. And then there was Jet Nation popped up and Jets Insider, remember? And Jets Confidential, I think, and some others. But the Greenhouse was the shit. And that's where I lived. And Matt ran that shit. And then me and Matt found out we lived one town over from each other. So when they hired Herm, Matt came over to my house, which I was like, 5 miles from you? He drove over to my house and he jumped in my green Jeep Wrangler in my drinking days and my drug days. And I'm smoking weed and everything else. And Matt's like he's a dad. He's really healthy. You know what I mean? He's a good family man. Among other things, he's on the right side of things. Matt's talked to me many times about being a good boy. And I wasn't ready yet. So I was like, you remember Matt? I was like, woo! Get in the car, man. And me and Matt drove down to the green and white scrimmage with Herm Edwards. And our draft pick that year was Santana Moss. We were like, hell yeah. He was the guy. So Santana Moss, what pick was he? Hold on. So he was the 16th pick in the 2001 NFL draft. He was just the electric wide receiver out of Miami, and the Jets took him. And we had Chad Pennington at quarterback. We already had Lavernius Coles. You know what I mean? It was like Lavernius Coles, one of the fastest guys in the whole NFL. And you put him, and we had, I think, we didn't have, we're not Dustin Keller yet. Who do we have? Let me see something. 2000 New York Jets roster. Let's take a look at this together. This will be fun. And then I got to go. I just want to keep going. I don't know what's wrong with me. Is anybody even here? I haven't looked at the numbers in here in a long time. Let me see. Wait, hold on. Let's take a look. The New York Jets roster in 2001. So, all right. Oh, we had Vinny. Vinny was still starting. So he threw for 2,752 yards, 15 touchdowns. Here you go. Right. Let's do this. There we go. Okay. So look at this lineup. Look, Wayne was still here. So we got Vinny Testaverde, Hall of Famer Curtis Martin, Richie Anderson. If you guys, it's crazy that Richie Anderson's name didn't transcend because he was something else, dude. Remember Richie Anderson, Gerald Sowell? We had 2 consecutive fullbacks that were like crazy. Let me do this real quick too. Let me do one thing. I know I'm all over the place. I feel like I'm like high or something, and I'm definitely not. I'm like fucking, hold on. Richie Anderson. All right, I'll go right back to the Jets roster. I just want to show you guys something. Richie Anderson Played for the Jets. Look at this. From 1993 to 2002 at a fullback. So look at these crazy ass stats for this guy. Now, the first portion of his, I think it was either the front end or the back end. Gerald Sowell was the primary guy. So, but anyway, look at these stats. A fullback in 2000 had 125 targets, 88 receptions. 88 receptions for a fullback, 853 and 2 touchdowns. He was a first down machine, 35 first downs. But look at it. Throughout his whole career, 25 receptions, then you have 5, right? 44, 26, then down year 3, injured, whatever. 29, 88, 40, 45, and then he went down to Dallas, another 6. This was like crazy. That 2000 season and 2001, he was like we checked down to him constantly. Remember that? It was like, throw it to fucking Richie Anderson. You're going to get a first down. So anyway, look at this team that we had. All right. So our offense. Vinny Testaverde, Hall of Famer Curtis Martin, Richie Anderson, Wayne Corbett, Lavernius Coles, Anthony Becht, good tight end, solid. 36 catches, 321, 5 touchdowns, nothing crazy. Jason, look at our offensive line here. Jason Fabini, 4th round pick. Kerry Jenkins, Kevin Mawai, Hall of Famer. Randy Thomas, losing him was the stupidest thing they ever did. 1st round pick. He was amazing for us. Ryan Young, who I don't remember. And Sean Ellis, Shane Burton, Steve Martin, John Abraham, Mo Lewis, Marvin Jones, James Farrier, Aaron Glenn, Marcus Coleman, Victor Green, Damian Robinson. And so that's our team. And we added what's his name? Santana Moss. What are we doing here? Lamont Jordan, remember him? Let me see. So John Hall was our kicker. Where is it? So anyway, we draft Santana Moss. So Matt and I get in my car and we drive to wherever, Hofstra. It wasn't at high. It was at some other school for some reason, the green and white scrimmage. And we're so excited. And we went from Al Groh. We had Bill Parcells. And then 1 year, Belichick fucks us. And we get Al Groh. And then he screws us and comes to UVA after 1 year. And we hire this guy, Herm Edwards. He's like passionate, boisterous, man of color, right? And he's loud. And he's the whole thing. So they mic him up. They're like, Herm Edwards, our brand new head coach, is going to be mic'd up for the green and white scrimmage. So Matt and I, we can't handle it. And we got to drive in there. Remember Matt? He said, I love that team. Yeah, me too, buddy. Oh, yeah. So we get there. And what they're going to highlight, the team, the roster is solid. We're adding Santana Moss to this offense. We're ready. So what do they got to show. So Herm Edwards is barking, hey, buddy, what are you doing? I got him. Get the fuck over there, man. He's like yelling. He's doing all this shit on the microphone. He's mic'd up like over the speakers. And they got to showcase brand new rookie, Santana Moss. What do? They send him down the sideline. Quarterback goes back and tosses it up to him. And this happens. And that happens. And he fucking gets hurt. I don't even know what to say anymore. I really don't know. So let me see something. So his rookie year, he only played 5 games. So he missed, 11 games. He missed 11 games. Isn't that some shit? Anyway, it's good to see Matt. Said, look, see, corroboration, guys. Sometimes it sounds fanciful. The crazy shit I say to you guys, right there, all true. That was 2001. That's 24 years ago. 24 years ago. Some of you guys have been fans 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. 24 years ago, me and this guy, because we talked on the computer about the Jets, we found each other. We just talked Jets. So I used to work at AT&T. I was sitting at my desk at AT&T, and Matt would call me. I shit you not. We'd be online arguing with Lefty Larry. Remember, Matt? We'd be arguing all day, and he would call me and go, I can't handle this guy. And I go, hey, he's so wrong, man. How could he think Lamont Jordan's better than Curtis Martin? Blah, 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 blah. We were doing this shit like 20. I mean, look, it's not. I got on Jets message boards 1997, I think it was. That is a long. That's 28 years, right? 2007, 2017, 2025. It's fucking 28 years ago, almost 30 years ago. I was no. Chad Pennington should be starting over Vinny Testaverde. I was all Team Chad, by the way. I loved Vinny, but I was Team Chad. Gerald Sowell. Remember that, Beefy? Parcells loved Richie Anderson. That's right. It is a long Jets career. And we forget these guys. Like Mo Lewis was a Jet for 12 years and never played anywhere else. Richie Anderson was a Jet for, what was that, 93 to 2002, right? So that's 9 years. Forgotten. Gerald Sowell. Let's look at him. How the fuck you spell Gerald Sowell? Gerald? I did. I spelled it right. There was an extra space. Like, it's so stupid. Anyway, let's look at Gerald Sowell. He's another one. Like, we had these fullbacks, man. We had fullbacks. Make no mistake. houseofatlas.com/GreenBean, everybody. So here we go. Gerald Sowell was a Jet all but 1 year of his career. So 1997 and 2005. So I can't do math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years himself. So look at this. It started slow, and then 1 year they go, wait a minute, let's throw him. So he was after Richie Anderson. He replaced Richie Anderson. Well, look, we got Richie Anderson is 50, his 120, 88 receptions, and then 60 receptions and all that. And then Gerald Sowell comes in, and he goes, no problem. 47 receptions, 45 receptions, 28 from a fullback. So not quite as good as Richie Anderson, but definitely good. Definitely good. And we forgot him too. Who else? Marvin Jones. Let's look at Marvin Jones. Nobody talks about Marvin Jones. Fourth overall pick. Right? Yeah, fourth overall pick. '93 draft, right? The year before Aaron Glenn. Loved him. He was the guy I wanted. Look at this. Another one. Look at his career. Jets. 100% of the time. Did we ever talk about him? Never. Why? He was fucking great. Say, look, 100, look, 92. Look at it. Rookie year, 30 tackles. No big deal. Because you're rookie. And Kyle Clifton was starting over him. So Kyle Clifton was at the end of his career. And Marvin Jones is slow. He's coming in. He's taking over. 86 tackles, 60 solo. 92 tackles, 59 solo. 103 tackles, 75, 127, 92, 135, 102 solo tackles. 102 solo tackles. 137, 97 solo tackles, guys. 109. Look at this guy. He had a what? 11-year career. 1, 2, 3, 4. I tell you, Matt, it's like, at least seems so simple, but it's not. 10 years, it says. All right, there you go. I just do that from now on. Look at this. So the rookie year, he played 9 games, right? So 15, he missed 1 game his second year. Banged up here, banged up. Then he's 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16. He was a mainstay. Him and Mo Lewis were next to each other for years. He's got over 100 tackles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 10 years, and 2 more, 92. So he's right there. And then an 86. So all but 1 year, he's right around 100 or over 100 tackles at the middle linebacker position. And he was a thumper. He shot into the hole. He would knock people. They stopped dead. You know, now, like, even as much as I love Jamie Sherwood, like when he tackles, he's a very sure tackler. They go down, but they get an extra yard or 2. You know what I mean? They slide forward. That didn't happen with Marvin Jones very often. They went backwards or they stopped. Like, well, let me show you something. How many Pro Bowls do you see? None. Look at this. Last one. This is my main dude right here. So watch this. Another one. 1984 to 1996, 13-year NFL career, 100% of the time with the New York Jets. Look, guys, watch this. Let me make a little bit of. Look at this. You see these blacked out? You look at this: 113 tackles, 160 tackles, 174 tackles. 162, 162, 199 tackles, 146, 138, 143. How many Pro Bowls do you see? 0. These 3 years, the reason it's blacked out, what they're telling you here, is those are the years he led the league in tackles. Bold, player-led league. He led the entire league in tackles. Let me show you something else. If I want to see something here. Now, do you guys know who the NFL tackle leader is for a season? You guys know who it is? Single season tackle leader. Does anybody want to take a guess? Does anybody want to take a guess who the NFL leader, tackle leader is? Single season tackle leader. No, it's not Lawrence Taylor. I'm going to show you something. It's going to fucking piss you off. If it doesn't piss you off, then I don't know what you're doing. But the thing, a lot of you aren't from this era, and I get that. But this should still piss you off because this is how long it's been sucking and how long it's been complete bullshit for us. I'm going to show you something. The all-time, so the single season tackle leader is right. He's right. Blake Cashman. No, it's Romanowski. Nope. It is Ray Lewis. Guess how many tackles he had Hold on a second here. $154 tackles, the record. Look at when. Sorry. So it happened in 1997. That's the year they started counting. Look at when my friend's career ends. So they're not, you see all these gaps? Where's the solo tackles? Where's the assists? Why don't they count them? Well, we weren't counting them yet, so we're not going to do it. So check this out. You got one guy. I'm going to show you something. One guy led the league in tackles, 199 tackles one year. How many of those you think were solo? Right? You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll never know. Not one Pro Bowl. This is Ray Lewis. Now, not taken away from him. He's fucking badass. 184 tackles. Still, so this is the year, 1997. 156 tackles. Solo. How many? Kyle Clifton had 199. I think it's probably in the neighborhood. But look at this guy. Pro Bowl, All Pro 2. Pro Bowl, All Pro 2. Voting defensive player of the year. Pro Bowl, first team All Pro. Pro Bowl, first team All Pro. Pro Bowl, first team All Pro. Pro Bowl for look at this. The stats are fucking identical. It's the same shit. He is the all-time record holder for single season tackles. Let's look at this. So he had a nice long career. So let's say how many years? 17 years. So he's played 5 more years, but he has 2,059 tackles. So for 5 less years, and it sucks because Kyle Clifton's last 2 years, Marvin Jones was the starter, and he was just sitting on the bench, right? And then he got injured this year. Yeah, he only started 5 games. Or Marvin Jones took over this year. So anyway, but you look at this. 160, 174, 162, 162, 199, 146, 138, 143. Oh, I'm not even showing you. Shit. I'm not even fucking showing you the right page. All right, I'll do it again. So look, again, it's 13 years. Really, 10 years. Really, 11, let's call it. 113, 160, 174, 162, 162, 199. Ray Lewis never had 199. 146, 138, 143. Not a single Pro Bowl. Not even a Pro Bowl alternate. And you get this guy. Again, look at that page. I want you to look at it. Remember it. Take a mental note. And then we'll go back to this. 95, 156, 101. Oh, I'm sorry, this side. 110, 184, 120, 165, 137, 162. It's the same. But look at this. Why? Well, because they won the Super Bowl right around here somewhere. They won another one right here. Why? Because not the fucking Jets. And that's what we dealt with Joe Klecko, and why it took over 20-something years to get 25 years to get him in the Hall. And that's why Gastineau will never get in, because they're Jets. If Gastineau was a Raven, if Gastineau was a Steeler, if Klecko was a Steeler, first ballot. Kyle Clifton, one of the greatest linebackers to ever play the game of fucking football. Maybe not as ferocious as Ray Lewis. I'll give you that. He was a very calm, measured man. He just laid you the fuck out. But the careers are, dude, they're the same. Kyle Clifton had no help. Now, people will argue Ray Lewis did that on the field with Tony Siragusa and what the fuck is his name? Whoever, Terrell Suggs and all that. So he was that much better getting those stats while those guys were on the field. Okay, fair point. Fair point. And again, I'm not saying Ray Lewis isn't the greatest one of the, top 2-3 linebackers ever. I'm just saying that guy was utterly and completely ignored. And he was putting that shit up every year. Led the league in tackles 3 years. Not once, not a fluke. Broke 100 tackles 6-7 years. Had 199. He would be the only guy with 200 tackles ever. And we weren't counting yet. So let's just leave it at Ray. Started counting right after his career ended. With that all said, I want to remind you guys about going to houseofatlas.com, guys, and get houseofatlas.com/greenbean. That's the only way you're going to get this offer of 30% off your Razor starter kit, man. That's the only way. If you go there, just to houseofatlas.com, you got to make sure you put that promo code GreenBean in at checkout. I would just go to houseofatlas.com/greenbean. Get that there. Ensure you get the 30% off. You're going to use the Precision Edger, man, on that razor. Nothing like it. It's one of the best razors you're going to buy. And then it takes it up 5 notches. I love it. 30% off. And I want to thank House of Atlas for hanging out with us. I want to thank you for hanging out with us. Because this has been an entirely, I said to myself, I'm doing 1 hour. We're almost on 3. So, hope you had fun. Right, Matt. Well said. With that being the final thing we'll show tonight, I wish you guys all a great rest of your morning. And no Thursday Think of It this week. No tomorrow. I'm taking my kids to see Pantera and Metallica tomorrow. And Suicidal Tendencies, but I'm not even going to go in. At Virginia Tech tomorrow, a couple hours away. Virginia Tech, going to see Pantera and Metallica with the wife and kids. So no Wednesday show, no Thursday show. I'll see you next week. Have a great night, everybody. Be safe out there.
I think he's going to be day one, a violent vertical edge setter.